Hi, and welcome to episode 5 of the Rainbow Six Pro League podcast. Apologies again that Dante can't be with me tonight. He has some family commitments that he has to attend to. He'll be back next week. But I've got a special guest with us tonight, Chanka News Network from YouTube, as you may or may not have seen some of his videos. If you
Hello.
haven't, if you haven't, I will link his channel in the description below, and you can check him out. So, hello Chanka, how are you?
Hello. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you very much. So, we'll start off with a few questions for yourself,
Okay.
if you don't mind. Can you tell us a bit about yourself? Where'd you come from? What is it you do, etc.
I come from England, if you can't tell by my accent. I come from rural England, so bad internet, lots of farms, lots of tractors. Um, right now, I'm not doing anything. I'm unemployed, just focusing on YouTube and some other Siege-related things I'm sure I'll get into. But yeah, that's pretty much it at the moment.
Okay. So, how long is it you've been involved in making YouTube videos, and what sort of inspired you to start?
So I've been making videos since I was like 13, 14, whenever Battlefield 3 came out. I made videos then. They weren't very good, and they were like with like Movie Maker.
Yeah.
And then I've been making the Chanka ones since April last year. No, March last year. March last year. So almost a year of doing videos.
Coming up with a good milestone.
Yeah.
I remember actually checking out some of your videos, especially around that time when the Pro League had sort of re-changed its format, and you done a video on about the change in format.
Yeah.
I remember watching that. I think that was one of the first ones I watched and come across.
Yeah, I've covered a lot of things over the years. It's been a crazy year for Siege. Been a crazy year, and I think the next few are going to be even crazier.
Yeah, that's from what I hear. There's going to be a lot of news coming out soon as well, even more than what we already know. And
Yeah,
well, it's I mean, even with the new Pro League layout and stuff, it's absolutely unreal. It's going to get
yeah,
busy.
yeah. It's going to be good.
So, how'd you come up with the idea of making making a news channel?
So I've been watching news channels on YouTube since 2014, and it was like real life news. So it was I used to watch the Young Turks, and then I kind of switched, went away from them in about 2016, and then moved on to just a bunch of other random channels. So it's always been something I've watched on YouTube, and I always thought like, why every gaming news channel always focuses on everything gaming. It's like there's nothing specific about one game and know all the details. There's nothing like down to earth. It's everything is like Microsoft wants to buy EA. It's like, okay, but how does that affect me? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So I wanted something that was kind of halfway between the news channels that focus on everything and the news channels that are also websites that focused on more community things and like down on the ground kind of stuff. And I wanted to get that balance between them.
yeah. That kind of makes sense. I can kind of see where you're coming from with that. I mean, one of the reasons why I sort of went to your videos because it was Rainbow Six related. I wasn't just looking at normal esports news articles where it was everything League of Legends and all those ones that I don't really watch.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
exactly. And I'm also like you as well. I don't really watch Counter Strike or LoL or any other esport. I just want to know about Siege. So for me, this is kind of the perfect thing. When I was watching the other news channels, it was like, I wish there was something like this, but it was local, so I could know what was going on locally as well as globally. So that kind of transferred into Siege, where it's like I don't want to know about everything. I just want to know about this one thing.
yeah, and I'd say it's been a good job you did because I know I myself have watched your videos a lot and gone through a lot of your videos and actually just thought this is great. I can just pick out the news I want. I can watch just Siege related because Siege has been a big part of my life for the last 2 years and
Mm.
pretty much the only game I've really played. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah, I'm in the same boat. Yeah.
Exactly. So moving on from that, there, I kind of have to ask about the name. Where'd you come up with the name Chanka News Network?
I honestly wish I could remember. I don't. I remember just coming, sitting in bed, and I remember the thought popped into my head, and I started working. I downloaded some like terrible editing apps on my phone to just try and get something up whilst I had the four. And I just made a red background. And I looked at the CNN logo,
Yeah,
and I just tried to do something. Like it was literally a text box, and then the bracket, then the dash, then the close bracket, and then the NN. And then the next day I went onto Photoshop and did it all properly. And that's kind of the result I've got now. But with the name, I honestly can't remember. I think I was just watching a video about CNN being fake news or something. And the idea was like CNN, Chanka News Network. It was probably because I was like, what the hell does CNN even stand for? And that's probably where it came from. But I can't say 100%.
that's a very good question. What does CNN stand for?
It's see, I looked it up and I've forgotten it again. Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up after. But yeah, Chanka News Network, it kind of works because obviously you say it, CNN is a recognized brand. You've got
Yeah.
a logo that's similar, but not to the copyright infringement, but it's similar to the terms where people might recognize it as news. And then it works, Chanka. So yeah,
Yeah.
kind of I like it.
Yeah, it fits quite nicely. It's like almost the same color. I did the like the drop filter to see the color difference, and it's like so close to being the same colors as well.
There you go. You've done a good job with that then, especially for it being off the cuff kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, what process do you go through when you're making your videos? You know, including like prep work and things like that.
So my process has kind of changed the last year. When I started, what I'd do is I'd go through Twitter and Reddit every day, and I'd go through on Twitter everything that was potential news. Yeah. I'd like it, and then everything on Reddit that I thought could turn into potential news, I'd upvote it. And back then on Reddit, I'd go through everything. I'd go through every news post. I set up a bot that will put every post into a spreadsheet that gets put on the main subreddit. And then I'd go through that and then delete any ones that weren't important and keep the ones that were important. But that just became way too, like, the main sub's grown massively since then. But also there's a lot of like trash posts, like shit posts, that don't really mean anything. So I stopped doing that. I've kind of just moved now to what I do now is I just check Twitter, and then if there's anything big, I just retweet it on the Chanka account.
Yeah.
And then I could just, at the end of the week, I could just go through Twitter. I'll go through the Pro League subreddit. I'll go through anything. I'll go through the main subreddit and set the filters onto news, and then go from the top. But yeah, there's a lot of work to do. But I try and get everything. Like there was a LAN in Africa like a few months ago that nobody talked about because nobody saw it, because it was a new post on the subreddit that got one upvote. Yeah. But I covered it, and it was, things like that I try and get. This weekend I covered the Wendigo tournament, where they're doing a vanilla tournament where it's only the original maps, only the original operators, and then you sign up individually, and your team will be generated on stream at the start of the tournament. So it's more about how to adapt and how to play, rather than like as a team game. It's like, how can you adapt to play with new people and improve your communication skills and things like that, which I thought was an interesting idea.
That is a very interesting idea, and it's actually something I didn't see. I haven't watched your most recent video yet, but that sounds unreal, that tournament.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. I like to see how it turns out.
Yeah, I'd love to sign up to something like that, just to see. You know, I'm a bad player. I play in around sort of gold 1, plat 3, so I'm not Pro League level.
Yeah, I'm about the same. Yeah.
So you can imagine chucking me in against a Pro League team. I'll just draw them back. That's quite good. So your process is a lot similar to what I would do, in terms of you just trying to scour what you can for information. I dare say you've probably refined a lot more processes than I have for being able to do it. That's quite good, because I would go through like some of the subreddit. I would try and go through Twitter as much as possible, though I've been away from Twitter for so long that I'm just trying to get it all back up and find out who to follow. So
yeah, Twitter's a horrible thing, because every time that, like, it's got a set limit. So if you don't go on Twitter like 2 times a day, it'll move you back to the top, and then you've got to scroll to the bottom. But whilst you're at the bottom, it'll start deleting tweets because there's too many for it to load. So if you're not reading it fast enough, it'll then spring you back to the top. It's like, Twitter, please. I want to start at the bottom and read up to the new. Like, come on, Twitter.
Yeah, you don't want to start
Just
with the news
fight you
post
the
and
whole
work your way down.
Yeah. I think they do it so it keeps you going on it, because it's like, I have to go on Twitter, otherwise it's gonna mess up my like timeline, and then I'll probably also miss stuff because Twitter won't load it for me unless I go to their profile. So I think they do it on purpose to keep you going back on it, which, I mean, I guess it works.
Business model at the end of the day.
Yeah.
No, it's a fair one. I need to check out Twitter a lot more. So I was on Twitter for a long time, but it was all before Rainbow Six come out, especially checking out like Dirt Rally, and I was a big Dirt Rally fan. Then all those sort of things, I was checking news and that all the time. But since that, I kind of moved off Twitter. I'm kind of trying to bring it back up to try and get the news. So yeah, I need to do that a lot more.
Yeah, it's a good place once you've cracked it and got everyone followed. And another thing that the translate on Twitter is terrible. Following the Korean players is just like, I just won't even read it. I'll wait till 100 people retweet it, and then I'll read it and figure out what it is.
Yeah, we've had experiences with that on this show. It's been really bad. Bing Translate. I mean, even that like Google Translate is funny. It's funny with that as well. I think it was Siege TV over on the subreddit Discord. That I was talking to, and he said, you know, he had copied one into Bing Translate. It said one thing. They copied it into Google Translate to check it again, and it said the opposite. If you know what I mean. So like, for a quick example, it was said this person is going to, and the other one said this person's not going to.
Yeah, there's also when I was in school, my French teacher used Google Translate, and it did put it in, copy the French translation, and then put it back in to translate back to English, and it was just completely different to what he put in the first place. It's a dangerous game.
Yes,
the old Translate
definitely is. So, moving on from the sort of the prep work, is there any sort of defining moment when you noticed your videos getting a lot more traffic or anything? Was there maybe a topic you covered that sort of defined it?
Yeah, there's been two things. So my channel's kind of had a wave where it had no views, and then it went up, and now it's back down to no views. I think my last one got 100. But there's two things. The first thing was getting pinned on the subreddit, because as well as doing videos, I started to make posts on the Reddit as just text written news.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And getting that, the mods pinned that randomly. I didn't ask them to or anything. They just randomly pinned it, and I woke up and I was like, it's got like 700 upvotes or something crazy. And I went on the video and it's like 1,000 views. I was like, damn, okay. And so that was the first thing. And then the mod stopped pinning it. So that kind of went back down. And my posts were hitting, like, one of them was like 20. The one before that was like 30. Yeah. It's like they were super low. And then, so what I did was I switched the Reddit posts to infographic, so it's just a picture, because if you don't know, pictures always work best on Reddit. It's like picture, text, then GIF, then video are the things that people look at the most in order.
Yeah.
So I switched it over to an infographic, and I designed like a super quick one where it's just the image I used in the video on a red background. And then the last 2 weeks, my girlfriend did a proper design because she's a graphic artist.
Yeah.
So it's a nice, clean looking infographic, and that one's got quite a few upvotes. I think it's like 300, 400, and that's been bringing stuff back. So it was those two things. Oh, and the other thing with the videos, the Japanese Siege community is huge, and I do supercuts on the channel, which is where I just take the VOD of the game and cut it down so it's only the action, so you don't have to see any like of the disconnects. You don't have to see any of the like 2 minutes of them walking around outside and not killing anyone. Yeah. I cut it down so it's all action. I just watched everything. 20-minute clip from like a 2-hour game, and the Japanese loved watching the Japanese supercuts rather. So that one I think's got like 3,000 views or something. And if you look at the infographics, it's all Japanese, so the Japanese love it apparently.
Well, that's good. At least someone's getting really used to it. I have seen some of those super clips, and I find them for games I didn't necessarily watch. I do try to watch all games, but especially down the APAC region and the Japanese games. I didn't get quite watching, so
Yeah.
watching some of your supercuts was actually really good.
Yeah, so I was trying to supercut the last one, the invitational qualifiers, but I just cannot. It's an 8-hour VOD, and no one has cut it down, and I just cannot download it. I tried for since it came out, I've been trying to download it. It just
Yeah.
errors every time. It's like, come on. But
that's unlucky. Hopefully, someone maybe cuts it down a bit. You can actually download it. So. Hopefully so. So apart from continuing to make videos, what's next for you? What would you like to move on to? And things like that.
So I know you're going to be aware of this, but for any of the viewers that aren't, I'm part of the staff for Siege GG, which is going to be the #1 Siege website when it releases.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a website that focuses on everything Siege esports. We're going to be covering news of transfers of games, covering match results. We're going to be listing upcoming matches. We're going to be doing articles on certain regions and how they play. There's going to be a betting system, so you can bet for your favorite team. Though small print, not real money. There's going to be a fantasy coming soon. That's not going to be there on launch. But that's kind of the second step: is launch, then get the fantasy working.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a ton more things. It's Siege CG is going to be massive. There's a lot of people doing a lot of work right now, and when it gets out soon, it's going to be great.
That's it. And then that sort of moves on to my next question. I was going to say, we had Broderick on the show a few weeks back, and he gave us a little tiny bit of information about Siege GG. Is there anything else you can sort of tell us about it, or is all under wraps for now?
What info did he leak?
It just sort of what you've just said, really, about the he was going to the bet and news information, things like that.
Okay, so there's going to be a lot of statistics. That's what I was doing just before I came on here. We've got someone in who's made an amazing little thing that's going to pull out a lot of statistics, and you're going to be able to see like who got the most headshots, who got the most. It's going to be some really awesome stats there. As well as that, there's going to be a podcast. I don't know when that's going to start. All I know is it's going to be after invitationals.
Yeah.
And that is going to feature some pretty big names in the scene. So that'll be good.
Happy days. I mean, I know I started this podcast, but I'm kind of glad there's a lot more podcasts coming. Though this one's only small, I don't actually get to listen to it because I don't like listening to my own voice.
Yeah.
So having other podcasts out there means I can finally listen to some podcasts with Siege. So I enjoy it. I mean, I enjoy the fact that there is a lot more than just what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. On launch, there was a podcast, for the launch of Pro League, there was a podcast, and that died off.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then Remorse started up another one with some guy I cannot remember his name. I know he plays Destiny now. And they'd have on like a pro player, and then that died off because I think the guy went to Destiny. And then who was it? Helby, or was it Helby? Someone tweeted about like, can we get some Siege podcasts up in here? And that's kind of made an explosion now where there's a bunch.
Yeah, I seen Helby's tweet, but what actually, funny enough, what made me want to do it was Interrobang also tweeted in around the same time. Saying,
yeah, that's it.
Great.
As well, yeah.
Yeah, it would be great to see some Siege podcasts now. Okay. So me and Dante got together and we made this. And since there's been that other one, Siege Cast, has come back out.
Yeah. And there was before Helby tweeted, there was the Anne's one.
Yeah.
Which that one's pretty good as well.
Yeah, I've been listening to that as well. They're all quite good.
The Anne's staff, the R6 Anne staff are lovely people. Lovely people. Everyone in that region seems to be super nice.
Yeah,
the
APAC region. Chill.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's like, don't know what that's in the water over
there. That's it. You come to, we'll just take a quick look example. What happened with the community vote and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not to go into details or anything, but obviously you've seen what happened on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter was a war zone for a few days.
Definitely. So, just a random question for you that I asked Syntax last week. Syntax, if you don't know, was a lower tier player trying to break it bigger into Pro League and stuff. So the question I asked him, which I'm going to ask you, is how would you improve Rainbow Six Siege? You know, just in one way, how would you improve the competitive side of Rainbow Six Siege?
Oh, in one way, I mean, I have a whole list. Probably before invitationals, I'm going to be tweeting out a list of things that I want to be announced. But I think the biggest thing they need right now is a demo system. Is be able to look back at kills from any position, replay the whole game. Like they need a demo system, and that I think that will be a huge game changer in interactability with the pros and going over their strats. But also, if it's available to the public, it'll be a huge stepping stone. Because Siege is a weird game where the casual and the competitive community are very split and don't like each other.
Yeah.
And I think if we get a demo system and people can watch, like for example, say the finals, invitationals, say for example it's not going to be, but say it's going to be Penta and EG because they're in the same group, they can't be in the finals. I'd say that Ubisoft highlight this on the main menu when you go into the game. People start downloading it, they watch it, they see how they can play better, they get a quick understanding of the scene. It may interest them a little bit more, and then the competitive side starts to kind of merge back in with the casual side, and hey, we don't all hate each other anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, actually, I would quite like that too. The one thing that you mentioned there that I would really, really like to see would be the replays from any perspective. So, I'm sure you've seen some Counter Strike Pro League games and things. Their ability when they're showing a quick replay at the end of the round while the team are buying their next set of guns and whatnot. You can see one of the best kills from a different perspective that we didn't see on camera the first time.
Yeah, and it makes it so it's not as important. One of the things I noticed with the cameramen of Siege is that they flick about a lot, and it's like there's two people and they don't know who, and then the camera zooms up and they've already shot each other and no one saw what happened. It's like the demo system would help that so much. We'd be able to get much, like, it would just help everyone out. There's no negatives to it apart from the time to develop it. That's the only negative, which is what they need to invest in anyway.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I know the camera guys do try their best, but obviously because you can't tell when the action's going to happen. I know I tried casting back last summer. We held a wee community cup in a gaming community I'm part of, and I was doing spectator cam and casting at the same time. And I know as soon as I flick to someone else, the person I was watching just gets a kill or just dies, and it's like, wow, if I had stayed there for 2 more seconds, I'd have seen that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, I don't think it's the cameraman's fault. I think it's just the spectator system. I just think it's clunky. It's a bit outdated.
Yeah, I mean they try their best. They do, but as you say, I mean they do sometimes miss the important things, and through no fault of anyone else. Yeah, that demo system would really, really help. I think it would bring a lot more people to the competitive side. You know.
Yeah, for sure. I can't think of any reason why it would be bad. It would just work out. I can see if there's some really whiny pros, they'd be like, "Oh, I don't want to give away my strats." But like other than that, there's no reason not to have it. It would just improve everything so greatly. And I really hope that's my number one wish for invitationals. That announcement is, hey, by the way, you can watch all these games in your own game with our new demo system. Yay! And everyone cheers, and it's amazing. Yeah. But whether that happened, I don't know.
I don't know if they'll have it developed for invitationals. What was, as I was saying to some of the guys in the Pro League Reddit, subreddit, there's always the Paris major. Could be a big announcement then too.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they're at least working on it. If it's not ready yet, I hope it's at least in the pipeline.
Yeah, and they could announce that it's being worked on.
Yeah, I mean, I know some of the big things that I can't share that are coming at invitationals, but that is still going to be the biggest announcement that a game can have in terms of esports right now.
There you go. Yeah, thank you very much for your thoughts on that. And then finally, one last sort of question around yourself. What would be the number one piece of advice you could give someone that was trying to start out making Siege-related YouTube videos?
You need to keep it to the point. You don't want to overextend what you're saying. You want to. A lot of people with videos tend to lose focus after a while. Something that I need to improve in my videos is having it more things happening. So you've got to keep it short and to the point, and you've got to keep it. You've got to do something unique. I mean, right now I've seen on YouTube there's kind of been an explosion in people taking clips from Twitch and just uploading them in a montage to YouTube.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, you can do that, and if you title it right and get lucky and do a fancy thumbnail, you can get lucky and you can do videos like that. But if you want to do something a bit more proper, is think of what's someone doing right now, or what is there that someone isn't doing right now. I mean, there's other scenes you can look at. Say for FPS, there's the Call of Duty scene, obviously the CS:GO scene, that's pretty big. Battalion's should be an up and comer if that can take off the ground. I mean, there may be things to look at over there of what you can bring over to Siege. In terms of the size, Rocket League is about the same size as Siege right now in terms of esports. So look at what they're doing. They've got a much bigger production than Siege has as well. So there's probably a lot of ideas you can take from them. Overwatch was on level, and then they announced the Overwatch League, and they did a bunch of cool things.
Yeah.
So I'd say it's now surpassed it, but again, that has a higher production, so there's probably a lot of things over there that you could steal. I mean, I was watching it yesterday, whilst I was waiting for Netflix to download, and there's a lot of cool things they do. Before the beginning of each match, they're like, this is how the London Spitfires can beat the Dallas Flames if they do these three things.
Yeah.
It's like, and then the commentators refer to that. It's just there's a lot more tied together than the Sieges, and the production's higher. So look at Overwatch for ideas, and like CS:GO is probably the big thing. You can see ideas with CS:GO that are tried and tested, and whether they didn't work out, and then see why they didn't work out too. For example, I know that the War Owl, who's a big CS:GO YouTuber, did a similar thing to what I'm doing with the news that focuses just on CS:GO, but then he ended it after like 6 episodes, I think. So it's like, why did that fail for him, and how do I improve on that? So just do the same thing.
Yeah. So thank you very much for that. So yeah, you heard it. Look out for a niche market and find out what everyone else is doing on other esports that Six isn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So thank you very much.
And then dig that hole.
Yeah, dig it. So thank you very much for answering my questions. Before we cover news, the one thing I've been doing with the last couple of guests is picks for your invites for the invitationals. Even if you just want to go through the overall pick, who do you think?
It's gonna be controversial. I think Team Liquid will win Group A. Are they in? I need to get the groups up just to make sure I'm in my groups right.
No problem.
Where are the groups? Here we go. Wikipedia. Always trust Wikipedia. Okay, so they're not even in Group A. Okay, so I think we're going to see Evil Geniuses from Group A, and then Liquid from Group B. There we go. Group C is a bit of a mix. I think we're going to see Black Dragons, but it could be close between them and CLG. Yeah. It depends. Elevate haven't done anything. They haven't played any big games in a while. They were in CCS with a mixed team, mixed with excellence, but I don't know. So I think it's going to be Black Dragons, but it could be close.
Okay.
And then Group D, I'd like to say Ents, but I don't want Season 3 to be a fluke. I'd like to see Ents go through. I'd also, with Group D, I'd like Irons to go through, or well, I want an APAC team to go through, but I don't think they will.
Yeah, it'd be good to see them go through, someone go through rather than getting all out in the group stages.
Yeah, I think APAC is still they're still kind of grouped up on a little bit. I think I don't know if we're going to cover it, but the announcement from the Japanese government should be a big stepping stone for the sub-region in Japan.
That is something that we're going to cover in a bit. Yeah,
Okay.
so we'll come to that one. That should
Yeah.
help it. The big problem with APAC is it's kind of been its own wee corner of the world in terms of professional play. I mean, it was only brought in last season, so they haven't really had full time to develop yet. Where you've got North America and EU who have had, this is going on to their third year, and you've had Latin America and this is going into their second year. And in Latin America and North America, they're a lot closer together than anywhere else, so they're able to scrim together. Europe to North America, the ping's not terrible. It's playable, but when you come to say trying to get North America to China or Europe to New Zealand to try and get scrims with other teams, the ping's really
it's a nightmare. Yeah, the other issue APAC has is that it's too split up, in that like there's only one. So, ANZ have 3-4 good teams, probably 3 now. Southeast Asia have, one at top level and then one medium, and the rest are all pretty terrible. Japan have about 3, and Korea have 1. So it's like there's not much. They only get to practice properly when they're at the LAN, and then it's only 2 games. So it's not.
Yeah, and it's not really going to prepare you for a big thing like the Invitationals.
No, and especially like you said, against teams that have had years of experience, like Penta, who have gone to how many LANs, or ENTS.
ENTS have been to every LAN, I think.
Yeah, they have. So it's like you're not gonna be on their level straight away. And I think the announcement you yourself did was a bit dumb. I think they should have had a separate pro league at first.
Yeah.
And then it should have merged in, because that's what happened with Brazil. That throughout year 1, they weren't in pro league, but they had a bunch of tournaments.
Yeah, they did.
So it was they had what they needed to do, and obviously it was even easier for them because they're all Brazilian. They all live in the same city, pretty much. Like, it's nice and easy to practice. But yeah, I hope we see something. Even if they don't go through, they just put up a good fight. That'd be enough.
Yeah. When you talk about them all being able to practice, I think the first season they had a proper pro league. They did it as a LAN. Every game was at the same place, and it's obviously very unusual. Obviously, a lot of North America and Europe are spread out, so being able to have that LAN the whole way through the season, it kind of gave them that advantage when it comes to actually coming to LAN.
Yeah, and it's that's going to be one of the things that I hope for the Invitational. I hope for that announcement. I doubt it. I really doubt it. But that would be a nice one.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully, we'll wait and see. So moving on to some news then. Right. As you know, in the past, how many weeks has it been now? There's been org change after org change after new org change after different org change. And this week's no different.
No.
So, starting off first of all, CLG have announced that they've brought on a Rainbow Six team through their blog post. And as you can guess by these names, the team they took on was Elevate, who we covered last week, saying that they'd left their org, their contract had expired. So Elevate is now known as CLG, and they've come over into the Siege community, which are, for as far as I'm concerned, quite a big team. They are. What do you think?
I think it's interesting. I don't know if the roster can perform for them. I'd like to see them perform, but I find it weird that all the big orgs, well, not all of them, because of LATAM, but I find it odd that the orgs are picking up NA over EU, because EU seems way more set in stone, on the order of teams, whereas NA has been just chaos every season with new teams popping up out of nowhere, going all the way through. Like we had Ominous, then we had who was the team in season 2 that did really well? I can't remember now. But then in season 3 we had Most Wanted and Infamy, and it's just like NA's a weird place, and but I think, I mean, saying that, Elevate have been, or CLG now, have been consistent. Like they've not dropped too low in the scoreboards.
Yeah, I mean, listen to some of their achievements throughout the last year. It was, first and sixth invitational 2017. Obviously, that was on Xbox.
Yeah, I laughed when I noticed they missed out the Xbox bit. Yeah.
So they managed to get in. They get second in year 2.
Yeah, against
year 2.
Penta.
Yeah, they managed to finish first in their actual own area in US. That's like season 2.
Yeah.
And they managed to make it to the World Finals in year 1, season 1.
I find it odd that they left out season 1 that they went to LAN, because I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah, I think they third place.
I find it odd that they left that out, because I'd say for like the first time that they've played on PC, they already get into LAN. That's a pretty big achievement. So I don't know why they left that out, but okay, whatever. CLGD.
I think part of me they didn't maybe realize that how big an achievement that maybe was for them.
Yeah.
I know whenever it was all announced, a couple of us jumped over to the CLG was it the CLG Discord, and we were able to tell them a lot more information about what was going on. When I say we, I mean it was mostly your guy Hyde from from the
there was a little bit of an invasion in the Discord.
It was quite fun night, actually. I was actually going to go to bed, and I just sat. I had to be done. When there's news afoot, you don't go to bed.
Yeah, exactly.
But congratulations to them. I mean, that's apart from EG. Well, I suppose you could say this is the second big org to hit North America.
I'd say in ranking it would go Evil Geniuses, CLG, then Rogue. Yeah,
exactly. The second big org. I mean, Rogue's been for a while now, but this was the second big org to come through this sort of break. Where everything else has been Latin America. You had FaZe, you had Liquid, you had Gaming. You had those guys, and they all went to Latin America. So hopefully Europe's turn to get some love next.
Hopefully, but I mean, I don't think, because right now the only orgless team in EU in Pro League is, I don't know. Whereas North America have 3 or 4, like almost half of the teams are orgless right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. I feel Penta, the org, locked down the team to a pretty good contract where nobody wants to buy out that roster.
Well, considering Shate actually left, and after winning, season 3, he leaves the team he won with to go to Penta.
Yeah,
and I mean it was purely business. There was no hard feelings along there. So he was saying, a lot of the players said it was purely business. If they were able to offer him a good enough contract, I think their team's pretty much set with that org.
Yeah. I think it depends what offers they get. I've heard rumors. I don't know how true they are. It could be. There's a lot of fake news, but yeah, it depends. Like, they could be getting a good enough salary where they don't care about a big name because they're already getting the money that they need. And they obviously, I mean, Penta are winning, so it's not like they need the extra revenue because they're already getting it with the wins. So I don't know. I'm hoping that we're gonna see Ninjas in Pajamas in EE soon.
Yeah, and teased quite a bit.
And I'd still like them to be with, I don't know, even though they've got no Swedish players now. I don't know, need an org. I don't know how they haven't got one yet.
Yeah, I was talking to, I don't know if it was Meepy or Lackey on the subreddit one time, and I did say, I'm actually really shocked to see that you didn't have an org. When they left playing Ducks, I expected the org to almost come straight away. I expected it to be, okay, we've left playing Ducks, halfway through the next season, we got a team, but they never did, and they continue not to have. I don't know if it's because they have consistently just missed out LAN this whole year.
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, even the third season, I feel sorry for them because they would have made Talan, given that Europe would have had 3 teams if APAC didn't come in.
Yeah. Well, I know they left Playing Ducks because Playing Ducks were a dodgy org.
Yeah.
And if you're watching this and for whatever reason Playing Ducks offer you an org, don't accept it. But I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether it's just them being picky. I don't know if there's been no offers because they haven't got to LAN, although they would have got to LAN if ESL or UB didn't introduce the APAC region because they would have been third place. But I don't know. I don't see. This is what is confusing me about CLG is that I can't understand because I would have put Elevate and Playing Ducks on a similar level.
Yes.
In the teams. So I can't understand why Elevate has got CLG and yet Playing Ducks or I don't know still have no one. It's to me it's like they're fairly even teams. Well, they're saying that Lackey does keep teasing.
Yeah, I'm gonna come to that one.
Yeah.
So I'll come to that one in a minute, but we'll move on to the next one. Various esports have announced a new team.
Yeah. This is a spicy team. This is a spicy team.
Yeah. I mean, with Falco on there, obviously, a lot of people know who Falco is. A lot of people know where Ares is. You know, not too sure about is that White Shark.
Yeah, he's the only person that I'm not sure about. But Falco, if you don't know, was the Year 1 Season 2 champion on Yugdis. He then joined Penta in Season 1 of Year 2, and he won with them as well.
Yeah, he was 6th.
Yeah. And Falco is a solid player. The issue he has is playing with the team. So if he can sort out that issue, then that team is going to be nasty. Sneaky was the best player in B Genius that wasn't cheating.
Yeah.
Ares was in Millennium. Chaos was in Ares.
Yeah.
And White Shark's the only person I don't know. Someone did tell me the other day, but I can't remember. I'll see if I can find it quickly. But yeah, that is a nasty lineup, and if they can play well together, then I think they're going to get pro. I've heard people say they're top Challenger League team. I think they can make it to mid pro if they play well together. It all depends on their communication and the way they can play.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, any team could sort of prove themselves eventually. I mean, a lot of the big names are there, so if they do get that sort of team synergy down, they nail it down and start practicing properly. Really work out their strat book, figure out where it is they need to go. They could make it a lot further than even being a mid pro league team. They could start challenging. I mean, it's not likely, but it is possible that they could start challenging the likes of Vincent Penta.
Yeah, I feel they have the potential to steal the third spot away from, I don't know, if like I said, if it's a big if they work together, I think that's a super strong team. And it was White Shark was from Requiem, which is the team Falco was on. Falco's a bit like Alems, where he's been around the world of French teams.
Yeah, and then given that it's an all French team, like most French teams are generally all French, apart from Playing Ducks, they were always kind of a mix. And then you obviously a couple other. Like some Millennium, Supremacy, and Vitality. There's B Genius. They're all primarily French.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not that will give them advantage in terms of callouts. They're all able to speak the native language. I know if I don't speak any other language, so if I had to try and make callouts in Polish or something, I would. So it's good that they're able to do that. And then obviously with the French scene being quite big, sometimes there'll be French Cups as well. We'll give them a lot of chance to try and prove themselves. Give them practice.
Yeah. I mean, they've definitely got the opportunity to be practicing. I mean, I know that like you were saying about languages, that was the reason Falco got dropped from Penta, was because he struggled, not necessarily struggled, but was the weakest in English.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, because that's a full French team, that could be, yeah. I'm really excited to watch them play.
Yeah, it'd be good to see where they end up later on this year and how far
Mm,
they can get.
yeah,
So, moving on again to the next set of news. B Genius, given that we were talking about some of the players from B Genius, they've been in I've been in this podcast at least 3 episodes where I talked about 2 players leaving. I talked about another 2 players leaving.
yeah,
Well, this time they finally announced that their team it's gone. It's the last player has left. Um, he said he's left the team, as obviously he's gone over to
yeah,
various esports. Sad to see it go. We talked a lot last week with Syntax about how Shaiko really did. We feel Shaiko really did destroy their name.
mm-hmm.
And then I think they got knocked back with obviously that defeat against Patoclipsa. But
Yeah.
personally, I feel that they just didn't have the drive to continue as a unit anymore. They all kind of wanted to fade off and do other things.
Yeah, well, I disagree with you a little bit. I think B Genius dug its own grave because obviously Shaco was the starting point, but the way the org responded to the issue and the way the other player T-Pex, he was the one that left like last week or a week before ago, the way he responded was poor. Then they managed to pull themselves back together when they picked up a Lems and Crisco.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe they could pull out something here. Lems is a good player, so they could do something. And then throughout the ladder, there was constantly fighting like lower end teams. So they were top of the ladder, and they were very cocky about that, from what I saw on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then obviously losing to Pato, who were 16th and a team no one had ever heard of, pretty much.
Yeah.
And like I think, yeah. And then T-Pex went off on one again on Twitter. And yeah, I don't know. I think they dug their own grave a little bit for being too stubborn, I guess.
Yeah, I could understand your point of view on that one. By the way, it's sad to see it go. They did close out in the final line that our journey with Rainbow Six Siege is not over. We go back even stronger. Whether or not, because they say they will be back, or at least expected. Whether or not they have something down the line, even planned, I don't know. I'm going to go out on them and say I doubt it. That they have players, or they have a looking around players. Never know, it might happen. Might come back eventually.
Even then, though, I'd be surprised if the B Genius roster that they pick up would make it back to Pro League.
Yeah, it might be a mid-tier Challenger League team or something.
Yeah, if they're lucky, I'd say. Yeah, it depends. Their name's tarnished, but it doesn't seem to be tarnished with the French. So, yeah, I think if they're going to pick up anyone, it's going to be French players, and unless they get lucky, I don't see them getting far.
Yeah, and you never know; it might be down a lot to the team as well. Maybe if Siege continues on, which we all hope it does. They may end up being able to pick up a younger team and develop them. Through to where they are at the age where they can compete at a proper level, and they could get back in that way, and to the sheer determination of the players more than the orgs in itself. But problem with doing it that way, as soon as those players get big enough, good enough, and get recognised, it's going to be on the network.
Yeah.
So, we'll have to see. Wait and see what the future brings.
Yeah.
So, next one, Team Yeti that we discussed last week that were picked up. I can't remember team's original name. Mantis, that's one. Thank you very much. They've picked up a new player, Eddie from Norangu. So that is. They also say they're going to get the gaming house soon. He is to replace. Was it Kha'Zix?
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, replacing Kazakhs on the original team. And they said they're getting the gaming house soon. So that'll be quite sweet. Um, the fact that they're, I know there's been gaming houses in Rainbow Six. There's obviously like supremacy. They're quite notorious. House.
Yeah. See, I was talking to Panari about this, and he was saying that the only people, it depends how they mean gaming house. The only people with actual gaming houses are the Brazilian teams. The Supremacy, Penta, Evil Geniuses, the Ents, they have, like, I don't know what their proper name is, but I just got to call it a gaming office.
Yeah.
So they'll go there and they'll use it. But if they mean a proper gaming house where they all live together, then that would be the only one outside of Brazil.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's interesting thought. I know some people reference like the Supremacist Gaming House, but I mean, to me, I mean, somewhere where you can, people use the term house, but to me, it would be somewhere where you can go with your team and use it like an office, and even if it's just a room where you can get your bank of desks up and practice together in a room, where you can all sit together in a room and watch a VOD, rather than me watching a VOD here and trying to say maybe relay the information I've learned to you.
Yeah.
Are all trying to watch it through Discord, which would be a nightmare. Have it there together and be someone going, "Oh, pause that, rewind it, we'll look at that bit again."
Yeah,
it's quite interesting. Hopefully, it works out for them.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting pick they got because Kazakhs did fine. I think again, I'm quite sure how to say it. Heedy, I don't know, but I think he was also fine, but I don't know. It'll be interesting. But them having a gaming house is the big thing. Like, that'll be. I mean, even if it is just an office and not an actual proper house, that'll still be good for them because, as far as I'm aware, that'll be the only team in APAC to have one.
Yeah,
maybe one of the ANS teams has one, but yeah, it's not a common thing. So that could give them a big advantage. Obviously, Korea is nuts with esports. So to compare, if that is a proper gaming house, then to compare that, the UK only has one gaming house throughout the entire country, which is for Gears of War. So, yeah, I think I read that like a year ago, so that may have changed now. But yeah, so to compare it, that would be a big thing for Siege as well.
To put a gaming house together, it's a big thing. See, I actually kind of, I'm gonna be on point line here. I'd prefer the gaming office because, this is just me being a bit weary, a bit cynical, and a bit School of Hard Knocks life type thing. Something goes wrong, you all give up everything, go to a gaming house. I take up my PC, I take everything. I stop paying rent in my own house because I'm no longer living there. Something happens, one big massive disagreement, and the whole team you've gone out. You're of the team. You're now homeless. I mean, then they're probably not going to wait around and go, right, you've got 4 weeks, you're going. It's going to be like, we've decided to see you later type thing. Where if you became an office, it's kind of like, well, yeah, we're kind of parting ways. Well, it's okay. I've still got somewhere to live.
Yeah.
I don't know. And that's just me being negative, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that point. It's just like you can look at Siege with Vertical Gaming, where the org was like, "Oh, we're going to buy your gaming house in Vegas," and then they didn't, and people had already given up their leases. So yeah, it is a big thing. I think mostly what it's for is for like things like the outside of the game stuff, like the vlogging stuff. So it's like, how do you all? Because I mean, it's not really a thing in any other region but LATAM, and that's something that makes them a lot of money and gets them a lot of popularity. I mean, that's why you'll see so many stupid Brazilian fans, because it's like it's the same people, or it's the same kind of people that like defend Logan or Jake Paul. It's just like they watch this person every day on YouTube, and then it's like part of them.
I feel like they need to defend them.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I think that's what it's mostly for. But yeah, I think it would be right to be suspicious especially when they just picked up this new player. Whether they played with him like in ranked and stuff, I don't know. But
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. You never know.
yeah, I totally understand your point of view. I'm a cynic, so I'd be on board with what you said anyway.
Yeah, giving off is the way to go.
Yeah,
So moving on to the next one. Lucky Seven, and their team have parted ways. They said they couldn't respect an agreement. Without sounding too harsh, I think that was something to do with sponsorships and deals and whatnot. It wasn't that.
probably.
I don't think it was necessarily something that they flat out broke their agreement.
Yeah,
So they're now looking for an organisation for Pro League next season, big events.
yeah,
Anyone knows an org looking team, look them up.
yeah. I can't say I'm too surprised at that. Lucky Seven are again same as playing Ducks, or they're a bit of a dodgy org.
Yeah.
I know some people that have worked for Lucky Seven, and they were unprofessional to say the least.
Exactly. So the thing is about, especially when Rainbow Six first started, you kind of seen it a lot. The big thing is you seen all these random orgs come, all these different names, and it was people approaching teams like these guys were playing this game and just trying to make it in the pro league. A lot of them making it in on their own, and all of a sudden there's these people approaching them going, "You represent us. We'll pay you to represent us."
Mm-hmm.
The naivety of some people, and myself included, probably would have been on this boat. It would have been like, someone's going to pay me to play the game, get to continue playing the game. You jump at the chance. It's your dream at the end of the day. Someone's offering to make your dream come true. Yes, okay, other people still had the work daytime jobs, but you were still also getting paid to play games rather than, not getting paid at all. Still trying to do the same thing. So I think some people jumped at these orgs, like playing Ducks. It's turned out to bite them. And I don't know if Lucky Seven was the same idea, but again, as you say, better than I do because you know people who worked for them at one point.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's Siege was kind of an opportunity because it was the only big org at the start of Siege was Penta, and then Flipside got added on, and then kind of stayed like that up until Rogue really picked up Purple Gaming. So there was a lot of people who were like, we can make quick money on this by selling merch. Like I see all these like tiny brand new orgs that spring up and they're like, buy a t-shirt. It's like, whoa. Whoa. Like even the charms are already out of date. Like there was an Elevate charm. Yeah. If you bought that, well, whoops, because now they're not even Elevate. It's like
yeah.
I think a lot of people at the beginning thought it was a quick buck, and now big orgs. Now Team Liquid is here, and hey, your fun's over. We're not gonna be waiting around, not getting paid, not getting our sponsor stuff.
Yeah,
we're gonna just be orgless because we're better off, and then we'll wait for someone to give us an offer. So yes, it's a transition right now between bad orgs and good.
Yeah, exactly. And the good orgs will come. I mean, like you've seen FaZe jump in already. And like FaZe is the kind of name that's probably going to stick around for a very long time. If the team doesn't have an agreement, FaZe will pick someone else up because FaZe is a big name. And they're not the kind of team that's going to welch out on an agreement. They have already got loads of sponsors in place, the likes of G Fuel and whatnot, already there in place. And those kind of sponsors aren't going to go anywhere anytime soon. With FaZe being FaZe dominating in CSGO at the moment. Well, they have a European team in CSGO. They're doing quite well. Didn't win the last major.
They went to finals, though, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost in the finals, but still they got there. See, the likes of those things they're not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. So.
Yeah, as long as UB keep building the game, building the pro league, these orgs aren't going to go anywhere. Because I mean, I've talked before about this in Discord, but there's teams for PUBG. And there's teams for Battalion. And there's teams for like, what's that terrible Overwatch clone? Paladins.
Yeah.
It's like, if there's teams in Paladins and PUBG, then like Siege is going to have his spot. As long as UB keep doing well, keep pushing it. Because the thing I'm noticing is that orgs don't go to games that are by big publishers. A lot of people, a lot of orgs, this is like their first esports with a big publisher. Yeah. The only thing that is like other orgs go to is COD, like with FaZe especially. So I think it's a bit of a trust issue, but from what EB's done so far has been pretty good. What I've been told is that they're heading in the right direction, and then from the stuff that I know, they're going to be heading in the right direction. It's just keeping that up.
Yeah, I like to think of. I know Rainbow Six is obviously made by Ubisoft. It's all Ubisoft's name. I like to think of it as a separate entity than the Ubisoft that makes your yearly released out Assassin's Creed games. You know,
Yeah.
um, and the Ghost Recon games and stuff, because this is such a different style of game. This could have been like any other Rainbow Six game where it
Mm-hmm.
was story driven, a wee bit of online, pretty much like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
That was that. But no, they focus so much on this, and I like to feel it's different people. And yes, okay, granted, it is physically different people working on the game than Assassin's Creed yearly releases, but I like to feel it's a completely different company.
Yeah.
Um, and they are. I mean, from what I've seen and what I've heard, they are doing a lot of things in the right direction. The start of this change of pro league structure is one of them, and even looking at some of the feedback from viewers like myself, and then pros like me being tweeted out, and a couple of other pros have tweeted out about it, and they seem to be on side here loving it.
Yeah.
It'll bring it more in line with other esports.
Yeah. I think the fear for orgs is that it's still, whilst you are right, it's a different team developing the game and working on it. The people at the top are still Ubisoft, and they can still intrude. Like we saw the recent price increase.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of thing that Ubisoft can still do, which is going to make orgs wary. And I would imagine, I can't say 100%, but I'd imagine that was partly why they were so quick to reverse it and be like, oh, whoops, we'll pretend that didn't happen. And then there's also things like they could just move staff anytime. Ubi's your employer. So think of the last invitationals we had when, I don't want to pronounce her name because I'll pronounce it wrong, but do you remember the French woman from year one? When she magically got moved to Far Cry, and then it's like, so I understand why they're wary, but they seem whatever Ubisoft's doing right now seems to be working. So as long as they keep with it, it should be good.
No, I said, well, one last org thing that I have for this week. I don't know if you've seen this shit or not. There was a Twitch clip. I'm not going to play it for you because the sound quality is not great. Twitch clips, and I'll try to play it through OBS. They have to try and put it on YouTube. It's not great. In essence, this is a game between Kickstar and Hot and Cold, and they're in Discord chatting away. And Hot and Cold says, Kicks that they've got a gaming house, and Kicks asks them, do you have an org yet? And he just replies, soon TM.
Yeah.
So, it's not news, so to speak. It's more rumors and things coming. But
yeah, a lot of things in Pro League, most other pros know about. So like Team Liquid and FaZe, everyone knew about them before it happened. With this incident, Hot and Cold didn't know Kicks was streaming, which is why he told Kicks, and this is like how the information gets spread around. And that's why when you watch the clip, Kicks says straight after, it's like, oh, I'm streaming.
Yeah, don't say that.
But yeah, that's as far as I haven't heard anything apart from that one clip.
Yeah,
even Panari the other day asked me on his Discord. He was like, "Have you heard anything about this, F3? Like, what's happening? They getting a gaming house or something?" It's like, I don't know. Because Panari's playing with them.
Yeah,
and he's like, "What? What are you talking about?" And then he comes and messages me. It's like, yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping we won't have to wait till March, till next season, until we find out. I hope we get it before then, but
yeah, hopefully so. And it'd be interesting to see what kind of org does pick them up and stuff.
It'll be a big one, I imagine. Like people are saying Cloud9, maybe.
I
think he says in the video that the house is in LA.
Yes.
So I'd imagine it's an org based in LA, and I know Cloud9 are definitely NA based. Whereabouts though, I don't know.
Exactly. So yeah, be interesting to see what comes out of that one. We'll watch that one for further. Just wanted to glance over that quickly. So, what you were talking about earlier, this little announcement, um,
Yes.
which is quite hard to read, but in essence, this pretty much states that I think it's these four teams, have been given an esports license in Japan. So what it is, Japan count online gaming and esports competitions as gambling, and therefore they're not allowed to win prize money because it's outlawed the way it is. It's outlawed or something over there.
Yeah.
Um, but they can grant special licenses for certain teams to earn money, especially
Yeah.
abroad. So, like, say, Irons, the money they would have got from invitationals, especially if they'd have won it, would have been split against the other teams. Now they're actually eligible to take that home with them, which
Yeah.
is good.
So that they won season 3 APAC, and for that, all the teams got paid apart from Ainz and Norengo. So Ubisoft took the money that Ainz would have won and split it up amongst the other teams, and that's what they were planning to do for invitationals. But then at the end of 2017, the Japanese government announced, like, hey, we've realized this is really dumb, saying we invented esports. We're going to reverse this and, well, not reverse it. We're going to add a loophole where we're going to give out these licenses and, hey, it doesn't matter if you're came in. Because right now you can earn money if you're a Japanese player, but you have to be playing a free-to-play game,
Yeah,
which obviously knocks out most things apart from like LoL and Dota.
yeah,
Um, and mobile games. Asians love mobile games. I don't understand it.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, Japan is probably the most competitive region in, or sub-region, I should say, in APAC. Like, if you don't know, that the Japanese community is probably the third biggest after France,
yeah,
if not bigger than France. But even then, I'd imagine it's not. Like the Japanese love Siege, and I don't know why, but I've heard that for an FPS, the game is probably one of the biggest. So with this announcement that you can get a license for it, I think that Japan could become a lot more competitive than what it is now,
yeah.
because
Go ahead.
the Irons are the only team right now in the region that are kind of they're further ahead than everyone else. When before it started the proper pro league, Nora Rengo was supposed to be pretty good. I talked to Luna Metal from Cryptic, and he said he was most worried about Father's Back,
Yeah,
which is the bottom left team, the flower one.
yes.
Um, so now they're getting paid. I think we're going to see a lot more competition come from there, and it'll be a lot closer because they have more of a reason to try and get into pro league and then try and get to invitation or to LAN.
Yeah, I mean, from doing it for just for fun to actually now being able to get paid, it's going to be huge for them. And as you said, should up eventually up their game. They have more reason to try harder.
Yeah,
Um, Especially other teams to come in as well. It's more reason to now try to get into that professional level play where beforehand it was like, well, we're not going to get paid anyway. What's the point?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So quick one, a bit of not necessarily Rainbow Six related news, but it's a Rainbow Six player. Thought I'd share some good news on podcast for once. And he is a Mo
Oh yeah,
Nesk, he's a player from Team Liquid, and has come out and said he's going to be a daddy. So congratulations to him and his
yeah.
partner.
Congratulations. That's big news for him.
It
Was
is.
he the same person? Was it him or Wag that proposed at a LAN as well?
I was going to ask you the same question, so I'm going
I've got it on my computer. I don't want to click too much because
to.
it picks up a lot, but I'll see if I can quickly find it. But yeah, I don't know if it was him. It was him or Wag, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I was going to ask because I remember that watching that someone at the end of the Latin American Pro League season in season one, I believe, they posed on stage. I think it might have been him when he was playing for Black Dragons at the time. But
Maybe.
no,
But yeah, Wag. I have Wag. I have a picture of Wag, so I'm going to presume it was Wag.
Yeah. Okay.
I
We'll
thought
go
I had
with
a
that.
video somewhere, but
That's fine. So yeah, congratulations to Naskin, to you and your partner. Wish you all the best. I have two kids of my own. It's not easy, but
yeah.
it's worth it. So next one, quick one. I don't know. I have a full team. When Lackey tweeted this, I got that full team feeling. I don't know if it's well. Obviously, Lackey is very good at you know trying to be teasing,
Yeah.
trying to tease everyone, and just keep saying need to get that Dank org as well. He says soon TN again. I don't know if that's true or not. The one thing that was found out by one of the Reddit users was this little ESL page of Daddy's Boys,
Mm-hmm.
where it features Lackey, Leon, and maybe from I don't know, along with Stizzy and Feral Jackal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, rumor has it this is their team. This is their full team feeling that they say. Um, those of you who don't know, most of you will know who Stizzy is, but those of you who don't know who Feral is, he was their team coach, I believe, because he
Yeah.
was too young to play at the time. And for anyone who is a British supporter of esports, he's also from Britain, so that gives them 4 British players. Yes. More British esports teams. We need them.
Yes, we really, really, really do. UK esports needs help.
Exactly. And that's I was discussing this. You because you were involved. Actually, you were involved in the conversation. We were discussing this when earlier on today, I believe. We're talking about national pride in teams. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've always had a soft spot for Meatby, whatever team Meatby and all are on, because of the British pride thing.
Yeah.
It's good to have that sort of home team you've had that you support, even though you know maybe necessarily that they're not going to be beaten like Serpenta. Still good to have that. So it'd be good to see them hopefully get their full team and hopefully get their org.
Have you seen Meepy cast before as well?
Have I seen Meatby cast?
Yeah, he cast with Milosh for DreamHack, I think it was.
I didn't actually get to watch DreamHack. I just seen the results. That was the DreamHack Winter, wasn't it? Where it was Ents versus was it Fabian and Pengu's team?
This was the season before that, where it was Ents versus was Pengu's team again. I can't actually remember who was on it now. But yeah, he cast with Milosh, and he is a very good caster. So
I'm gonna actually go look it up after this as well.
Yeah, you definitely should. He is very good. He also cast a game at the Invitation. You know, the Premiership, the Xbox.
Yeah.
He cast that it was last year in at EGX. He cast the last game with someone else, and then Matt Andrews was there also.
Yeah, a friend of mine was actually there watching that live.
I was there the day after, and I was like, please, someone still be here. Don't all have gone home. Because Verdi Portons was there as well, the German caster.
Yeah.
I messaged them all. I was like, are you still at EJX? All of them had gone home. I was like, no.
Yeah, a friend of mine, was it Justin Giddens? Funny, I've still yet to try to figure out if he's a relation of Leon Giddens. I'm working on that one. But Justin, he was there. He watched the Xbox finals, and I remember him tweeting me photos of it and made me jealous. But I didn't know maybe he was there casting. Justin isn't big into his esports side of Rainbow Six. He's I don't want to call him a casual pleb, but he loves playing his ranked and stuff. That's pretty much what he does. He was a part of I had an Xbox team at one point. He was a part of that. But again, he would kind of come in, play. We didn't really watch any of the thing. He just kind of done what he was told, which he was quite good at doing. Yeah. So he wouldn't have known maybe he was there. That would have been good to watch.
Yeah. Matt Andrews too. I love Matt. Matt's such a lovely guy.
He's so funny as well on Twitter.
Yeah, he's so great. But yeah, I was there the day after, like I said, and they was playing League.
Yeah.
And I sat down and watched it for like 5 minutes, as much as I could bear. And that would have been awesome to watch Siege on that. Would have been really awesome. I'm so gutted I missed it. I'm so upset about it.
Yeah, would have been. Well, maybe next time. Yeah, you
Yeah.
never know. They might bring on one of the miners over.
Well, I'm going to EGX again this year, so hopefully, even if it's just the Xbox Premiership, hopefully they have something.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I'll go a day early.
That'll be good. Last but not least, a bit of fluff news. PC specs for the invitationals. They got i9s and 1080s in the PCs. Hopefully, we don't have the issues that were plagued Brazil.
Yeah, I don't think we will, but Brazil, yeah, that was painful, and that was the most viewed Siege LAN too, which also hurts.
Yeah.
But because it's in Canada and because they've had so much time to set it up, because I know the issue with the ones in Brazil was the production team that was hired by ESL.
Yeah.
So obviously they'll be in Canada, so they won't have the same team, but they'll also, because it's like right next door to the Ubisoft studio, they'll be able to go in and test it way before the event's open. So hopefully we don't have those issues, but you never know. I mean, did you ever watch the first Anne's Invitational? That was just Anne's.
No.
That was almost as bad as Brazil. That was every round there was a rehost because it kept the computers. From what I was told, the computers were set up for Rocket League, and they just used the same ones for Siege. And obviously, Rocket League's a pretty light game.
Yeah.
And Siege, yeah, Siege is not well optimized, and they were not having a good time.
No. Well, it'll be good to see that they've got some decent specs in the PCs, and well, as you said, with it being right beside Ubisoft, I dare say they've already started working on the production side of things.
Yeah.
It is only, what, 9 days to the first game?
Yeah, it's not long.
So, that is all the sort of news and stuff that I have this week. Have you any sort of closing thoughts or anything you want to add?
I don't think so. I think just keep a lookout over the next week. There we go. I think we're going to be seeing, I don't know, announce their team this week, hopefully. I was told it would be last week. I'm still waiting for it. So hopefully it'll be this week coming.
Yes.
And keep an eye out for the last 2 days, whichever it is, at the invitationals, because there's going to be a lot of big things announced. And like I said, I only know some of them, and I'm already excited. So definitely keep an eye out. And thank you for having me on the podcast as well.
No problem. Thank you very much for coming. I'd love to have you back another time as well.
Anytime.
Down the line. So thank you very, very much for attending. Yeah, so that's everything I have for this week's podcast. The one last thing I want to go through is, if you want to stay up to date with podcast news, check out our Twitter at R6podcast, R6_podcast. If you're listening on SoundCloud, you can catch us out on YouTube as well, on R6 Space Podcast. And if you're already on YouTube and you want to have an audio only version, you can have a look at our SoundCloud, which is R6 Podcast. So again, thank you very much for watching. See you later. Bye bye.